Emily Walters started making nursery items 5 years ago when her daughter was born. Her friends wanted some, and her DIY skills are now a brand called Hazel and Ollie. Let's check out this children's jewelry kit that she makes for DIY fun at home. This is the children's jewelry kit that you are so well known for. What all's in it?
So what comes in the jewelry kits is these little cutout pieces. They're made of wood that I actually designed, and I cut here in my home on my laser cutter that I have. And then it comes with like a mix of just fun different beads.
Beautiful rainbows.
Yeah, so cute. I love rainbows. And then this nylon cord, which is really easy for kiddos to string the beads on.
Okay, so the thing that I am most excited about is teamwork makes the dream work.
Right,
We can do this together.
Sounds
good.
But
you know, it's ages 3 and older, so simple enough literally for anyone to do it.
Yeah.
We just pick up beads and like kind of go with
and
what works?
I like to not provide a template specifically for each necklace so that the kids can kind of have creative freedom to, you know, design their own pieces.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Now, Hazel and Ollie, right? This is such a wonderful, unique name, but your kids aren't Hazel and Ollie. So where did they come from?
I do have a little boy and a little girl, but when I started this business, I only had my daughter. And I happen to have 2 miniature dachshunds, Hazel and Ollie, and so I wanted to include a boy and girl name, so that's what I decided to call my business.
Well, that's wonderful. And how did you actually get started?
So I am kind of a crafty person by nature, and when my daughter was gonna be born, I was doing all these DIY projects for her nursery, and some of them got picked up on Pinterest. And then I had people contacting me and asking me to make them, you know, cool DIY projects. And so that's kind of how the business started, and then it grew into jewelry, apparel, and now I also make adult pieces.
Okay, and talking about the adult pieces, you know, part of the question is always, where do you guys go next? Are you thinking about jewelry kits in another frame?
Yeah, I think it would be really fun to kind of create jewelry for jewelry kits for adults to do, because I just am thinking of like girls' nights or showers. It would just be a really fun party favor to give these jewelry kits and then have your friends all sit around and make them together.
It really would be, and you're obviously finishing that off, tying it and putting a clasp together, but when it's all said and done, how neat is that for a little kid to be wearing the artwork that they helped create?
Yeah, and they can color it in too and make a cute little thing. So it's just another part of how they design it themselves.
And her little girl actually helped to do this, so that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So Emily said that the rainbow is the most popular charm. In a bit, she's going to show us how a little bit of paint and a pom-pom makes an everyday item a whole lot more fun. Welcome back to Better Kansas City. So with a new school year came a new craft idea for Hazel and Ollie. And if you thought a name lanyard had to be plain or bland, well, you're going to have to think again.
So my sister is actually a first grade teacher, and she said, hey Emily, you make all this cute stuff. You should make teacher lanyards because they're so boring and I have to wear them every day to school.
And all the teachers would love crafts specifically for them.
And so what we decided to do is make these teacher lanyards, and when people order them, they actually tell me what their name is that they want to put on it, and then I put it together for them and I send it off. But I'm also going to be producing some custom keychain kits that you can totally DIY yourself, and so we're going to do that now.
Well, we're gonna have to get started, maybe dip a little water in and paint?
Yeah, so pick your paint and then just start painting your letters.
Okay, and so the thing I love probably the most about this is she told me I don't have to stay in line, I just can't hit the letter next to it.
Yeah, so just get the paint down in the, kind of, because they're etched in there, so you just want to kind of get the paint into the letter and then down to the next.
So how did you get the idea for like laser cutting? Because a lot of this stuff
we're noticing it's etched and they're good.
Yeah. Well, laser cutting is kind of a new thing. They actually have laser cutters that you can buy. They used to be commercially available, but now people can do it in their own home. And so I was having somebody else do this process for me, but I decided to go ahead and invest in a laser cutter. And so what it can do is it cuts all the shapes that I use in my designs, and it can also etch them or engrave them, which is really cool for personalization.
It really is. And something else I love that you've done,
you know, the keychains, obviously, that's for anybody who's driving, but you made it specifically for the school kids too.
Yeah, so these little keychains are also backpack charms. So that's really fun because every little kid loves to have their name on their stuff. So they can take these little keychains and just put them on their bag for a little extra school year flair.
Okay, and you're striking a note because as a child growing up Belinda, there's like never a keychain with your name.
That's another thing, is it's totally customized so that any kid's name can be on the keychain, which is nice if they have a name that's kind of out of the ordinary or something special.
Okay, so I've caught up to where you're at. Now,
Yes.
what's next in this DIY?
So all you have to do, and it's not quite dry yet, so you would usually just let it sit till it's fully dry, but you kind of have to just peel this corner and pull the film off. And then you're gonna reveal your painted letters. And then there's one on the back too.
Well, that's
I'll do it
wonderful.
real
Your
quick.
colors are really just jumping off the page. Okay, and we did go ahead and peel the label off of my keychain, and this is the first time I've ever had a personalized keychain. So now I never have an excuse to lose my keys again. Later on, we're gonna see how Emily makes earrings and jewelry for adults. Welcome back to Better Kansas City. Modern, bold statement jewelry, that is Hazel and Ollie's style.
Yeah, especially when it comes to women's jewelry.
Emily shows us how she puts together her colorful statement earrings.
I start with the acrylic pieces, which are just sheets of flat acrylic, and then I design them here and home, and I cut them on my laser cutter.
So I spy a little tweezer there.
Yeah.
Can you get you in action?
Yeah, so these are little pliers, and so I just have all these different jewelry components that are pretty common, but you just take them and put them together. Put these brass pieces on for a little dangle, and I just love gold. I wear tons of gold jewelry. And so we just do that.
So you are making this look so simple, but you also have a really big background in this. So how did you get started with like metalsmith and jewelry?
So my degree is in fine arts, and I had an emphasis in metalsmithing and printmaking. So right out of college, I started working for a local jewelry designer, and I also started doing my own jewelry design. And so I just have been really practiced in this. I've been doing it for a really long time.
So how do you know, because when I'm looking at like these beautiful pieces, but how do you know, how do you line up what's gonna look good together and when it may be too much?
Okay, so I usually start with kind of sketching out my designs on my iPad and using different colors and getting the combinations that I want. Then I'll cut the pieces and then I'll put them together. So it doesn't just come like out of thin air. I have to kind of plan it out.
There's a lot of planning that goes in behind a beautiful
Yeah.
pair just like this. So
Yeah.
I mean, those are so eye-catching, so wonderful. And even the pair you're wearing, I mean, you see this beautiful flower and you get to wear something that you made.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I love to test out all my designs when I make them. See
Of
how they
course,
work.
who wouldn't? So can you actually walk us through some of the different things you've got here? Because you got a lot of bracelets. These look so fun too.
Yeah, so as we talked about, I make kids jewelry, and that's how I kind of got started. And so these are like different kids bracelets. They always have a signature tassel that's kind of the Hazel and Ollie look. And
A piece of watermelon. Who doesn't love that?
I know. There's dachshunds, apples, little colored pencils. So fun. And then it's hard to make accessories for boys. And so
Go with the bow tie.
Yeah, the bow tie. So I started making these bow ties this year, and they've been really popular. But the great thing about them is that they also double as hair bows for little girls.
For boys and girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can buy one for both.
And then let's touch on this because we've got Royals and Chiefs both in season.
Yes, right now. So I started my Casey collection several years ago. It was one of my first adult pieces that I made were these team bracelets, and they have just been so popular. It's just such a fun way to add, spirit to your outfit without going over the top.
Okay, and that's a true nod to Kansas City right there. So Emily makes clutches, wall sign, nursery decor, and many other things. And you can see a lot more of her bright and colorful work that is just so much fun on Instagram or online under the name Hazel and Ollie.
No, I'm fully convinced that we have some of the most creative, fun people here in Kansas City to do that with maker projects like that. Everyone
maker
that you've
community
talked
is
to,
fire.
that I've talked to, they're fantastic.